I just realized that my mic was off. And no one told me my mic was off. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. So, okay, what I was saying all this while is that, first of all, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And the second thing I was saying is that we are going to be analyzing the games. We're going to analyze the games from the just ended 13th President's Cup, right? Like I said, I looked at some of the game. These games I haven't looked at. Sorry, I looked at my games, but these games I haven't looked at. These are games people have asked me to look at as well. So it's a completely new thing, and we are going to analyze them together and make it. That's basically what we're going to do. Today, the first game we're looking at Prince Aqua versus Bernard. Okay, so we have e4, c6. I think that's the Karukan. e6, d4, and then we have. Yeah. So, what option is Bernard going to go for here? The exchange Karukan. And this is where, like, you notice that positions are like that, right? Let's even go this way. London system, for example, right? What's the line yeah, it is that. Bishop. Yep. You play this big stick, right? These are what the things I'm talking about. So here you see this, and it's almost the same thing. Right? All you have to do is get the bishop here. Exact same position on the board. So that's the whole transpositional learning I've been. So we have an exchange. Not only the exchange is very drawish. Again, that is because of, we say this because of the okay, this is not the drawish position. Okay, this is not actually very drawish. This is not actually very drawish. So sorry. In some of the positions, you realize that there's a lot of symmetry, but here there isn't that kind of. But most often when I play these types of structures in the London system, it is like kind of drawish. The game can just fizzle out. But yeah, let's see how this game goes. Bishop to d3. Completely fine. Knight to c6. e3. Now, this just looks like a London system at this point, right? So, you could have gone for like a Jobava system. So, if you were going for the Jobava, you would play this. If this guy comes in, have this. The pin does occasionally happen, and you do want your bishop here. Assuming your opponent plays this, one of the ideas you can go for is, for example, this, and the point is to trade off, and this is considered good. I don't know why so much. All I know is that the pawn and the knight do a good job of holding key squares. But then again, I don't know if the presence of the bishop here changes the, but that's what I know. But with the way he plays it, as a Jobava player, this is not optimal. Not saying that this is bad, but like if you were attempting to play the Jobava, the bishop is not best played. It's and even in these exchange lines is what I'm talking. Even in these exchange lines, the bishop is best placed here. So once again, like if you go Jobava route, right? E4, let's say knight f or d5, let's just 5. Knight f6, e3, 5, 6, takes. Let's say knight here. If you develop your bishop here, let's say bishop here. This is basically where you want. You don't actually want to. Not considered. In the Jobava, I'm just using transpositions to explain things. That's how sometimes like I understand positions. Whenever I'm playing them, I look at them in other like opening terms, right? I look at the position in like other opening terms, and that's what helps me understand the position. The disadvantage to doing that is move order, right? The game doesn't follow the exact same move order, so it's not always exactly this. There are some slight differences. Mastering move order and all these things is what gives you an edge in you, right? So knight e6, you could play this, but this is just going to be like a very bad position, because now you have to deal with this. By the time you play this, maybe you don't, right? You kind of hold out on it and see. There are times you actually want to wait for your opponent to actually push e6, and once they push e6, so for example, if your opponent plays here, then you are actually very happy to play, right? Because you've gotten your knight here. It's still the opening, so everything I'm saying is just advice. We are not really seeing anything new that we want to look at. Bishop to f4, fine. Get this move. Okay, so he just dodges with the queen, and now he puts pressure on this side of the board. How would you want to? You could play pawn push, or you could simply bring the queen. I would personally like queen here, because it develops the queen sort of like, so it feels kind of passive. And your opponent is like possibly something like this. Remember, if the rook is on the c9, guys have how that. So yeah, that's basically what queen to d7. Queen to d7 is actually even e6. And if you are playing the Carlsbad structure, a very interesting idea you want to go for is to get your knight to this. It's like a reverse Carlsbad structure, right? If you can get your knight to this square, that may be a future idea, because these squares are very good for them. But so far the game just seems very tame. Nothing big so far has happened. The game is just flowing naturally. Okay. At this point, maybe you play knight jumps in, and the queen comes in. Wait, what? Two defenders, three attackers. What? What's the point of card? Knight takes. Let's just see. Knight takes. Bishop takes. Bishop takes. I've lost 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that just lose a pawn. Why is this so good? What is the hidden line? Ah, so after queen takes, we have queen. I think that's the. Is that really good? Is that really good? Because like after queen takes here, we have the rook. The queen is still on the diagonal. Hey, Tracex, how you doing? Oh, good to see. I don't know if it's the same Tracex. So the line I'm looking at here, for example, is knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes, queen takes. Saying that this move. Oh, but okay, this pawn. I was looking at this and I was like, this is not that big of a deal. But then I suddenly realized that black is very much paralyzed, and this position is actually good. I think white would play this 1,000 times. Or you can even continue putting pressure on you like this. Right? And you can't even castle here as black. Can't even cut. Interesting. Very nice analysis there. Why would you do that as black? I was just trying to see, like, I was trying to figure out why he would castle here. Again, like, I've not seen these games. So I'm like, why would you castle here when your opponent has more attackers on your knight than you have defenders, right? Because oftentimes that's what we are looking for. How does the bishop go to e2? The bishop can't go to e2. The bishop can go to e2. So let's go to the line I said again. Takes, queen takes here. The rook here is under attack. You could castle here, which is completely fine. I'm saying that if you come in here, the bishop cannot come back. It's blocked. The bishop just can't come back. It's blocked by the pawn. Ideally, the best position is to just castle, right? Because you keep your pawn safe and you can even continue this way. Anonymous chess master. Oh, okay, wait. Sorry. Give me a second. Okay, let's go through that line again. Takes. Sorry, where this is okay. Is it here? Yeah, so knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes. Queen takes here. Rook comes in, queen comes in, check. Knight jumps back. Bishop e2. What does bishop e2? Because the queen is not coming. Okay, if you do this, it's still a check. Like everything is. Even if you come here, bishop e2, still doesn't do anything, right? Oh, okay. So you're saying that this, if you play this here and you come in here and then your opponent plays back and then you play this, what if your opponent plays bishop e2 is checkmate, almost like checkmate, right? You take here, check, the king moves, and then you take the bishop for free. You can take the bishop with the rook. Yeah, for sure. You can take the bishop with the rook. So here, let's say the knight comes back. You come in here, takes. I can take here. Sorry, I can take the rook. Yeah, and then bishop e2. Bishop e2. It's not bad. It's practically just a trade. It's practically just a trade. And actually, what will I say here? I'll say that like white is still better or something like that, right? White is still better. It is a very good line. I wasn't looking at this properly. Yeah, your line is actually very good, but it doesn't make black's position any better, right? You could even just come back here, let your opponent take with the knight, whatever I want to take, and your opponent kind of has a problem with castling here. So I would still give this position to white. I would still give this position. But yeah, your line is actually very good. If you use the engine, then perhaps I'm not using the engine actually. Black has a strong pressure and active pieces. If you look at it, this is also scary. Like this may end up even in a draw. Like this game may end up being a draw. But I'm just thinking that white, for the moment, is pressuring. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know if actually you want to play this after the queen moves, then you take the bishop. I don't know if that's what you want. What do you do as white here? That's what I'm saying, that you might attack this guy first. Oh no, you may not have to attack, Tracex. You may not have to attack. The point is, white may have a much more superior position. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If your point is to say that this position is better for black, then I disagree. But if you are saying that with this move order, black can what's the word? Dissolve white's attack, then yes, you won't be getting rating. Yeah, but it's not always that you have to force a win. Though I think white should play for a win in this end game. Looking at how the position is, considering the pieces on the board, it may be more likely to be ending in a draw. That's not to say that you're going to play for a draw, but the most natural conclusion may be that it would be a draw, right? Yeah, so you would try and play to win. I mean, you have 3 pawns here. You can make a pass pawn with these 2 pawns. So there's something to play for. Don't get me wrong. There's something to play for, but this can still end up being a draw. That's what I'm saying. But you are correct in that if these lines happened, for example, again, this line happened, then what do you call it? What am I saying? Then black can easily diffuse the situation with a move like this, right? Sorry, takes, and then here, right? That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's a complete end of the position. We can turn on the engine and see what the engine says. If the engine supports that black is, yeah, the engine says plus 0.7. It's going higher, plus 0.8. Yeah, so white definitely has the initiative, but you are correct in saying that black diffuses the majority of the attack, and the 2 moves the engine suggests here is b4 and then here. I am suspecting the point of b4 is to prevent castling, and the point of a5 is to attack this pawn, right? So for example, if you go this way, your opponent takes and you take back, there's something your opponent has to defend, right? So for sure, I still think that white has the potential to win. I'm just saying that it's more likely to develop into a draw, but white definitely has part. Wait, Iloba does not show you initiative, it shows advantage. But black is the one with the strong bishop. So there are no more bishops on the board. There are no more bishops on the board. In the line we are looking at, there are no more bishops on the board. Or you are saying that after this, then the bishop just retreats or something? Because you are going to take here and then there's going to be a trade. There are no more bishops on the board. My camera used to be here, so I keep looking here. There are no more bishops on the board. You don't have to take. As in, the rook does not have to take the bishop, or that the bishop does not have to. If the bishop does not take, this is then winning for white, I would say. Okay, let's say for, I don't know, we play this. What would you do here? Let's say we go queen to a5. What would you do here, since you don't have to take? What would you do here? I'm enjoying this is how I wish these streams would go, where I'm interacting with the chat and we are looking for answers. I'm enjoying this one. So what would you do here? If you don't take with the bishop here, what do you do? Because you are actually down an exchange, right? You've lost the rook for a bishop, and this is your only opportunity to take. If you don't take, your opponent does something else. The point is not whatever you have. In chess, you cannot analyze all possible combinations, but you should always make your position active, because there might be something you miss that you enable. So now you can think for a couple of minutes to try and find a good attack. If not, and if you do, well, big deal, just take the rook. But here is where we disagree. There is no chance for an attack here. Like, if you can, I would much appreciate it if you could give me a chance for attack, so we can hold on this position. The point of this stream is to analyze together. We can hold on this position. How would black attack here? Queen here. I dodge with my rook. You can't come in here with your bishop. There's nothing, right? So you have to move your bishop now. Okay, let's say for argument's sake, you come back here. I don't know why. Because you want to go h5, h4. There's no possible attack. Unless, of course, like I'm just defending my... I'm just trying to be hard on my position here. But I don't see any reason to not want to take here, is my point. Like, why would you not take? Let's turn on the engine here and see if there's something. Okay, the other option is to play queen to f4, attacking the knight. Right? And the line the engine gives here is very interesting. You take. Because if your opponent takes, you have queen a8. King moves, you can take the rook. And it only looks like white is the one that's better here. It's like only white is the one who's better here. Okay, so we can take this. I have a rook. Definitely you can take this. Right? But the game still goes on. I think anybody would take white here. Right? That's basically what I'm saying about the position. I see everything you are saying, but where we disagree on is okay. Okay. I get what you're saying. So then we agree, right? We agree that if there's an opportunity, you should take it. But if there's no opportunity, if there's an opportunity and you can do something other than the bishop takes, then you should do that. We completely agree on that point. What I'm saying is that in this position, that whole thing doesn't exist. We are trying to analyze the game in front of us. We're not trying to just say, oh, if there's an opportunity, take it. No, like in the position, like the board that we are seeing right now, oh yeah, so you're correct in saying that my line was wrong. Yeah, my line is wrong here when I said that the opponent has to do. So you're completely right that this is the best option that black can go for, right? And I'm saying that yes, so if black does go for this variation, he survives. But I still think that white has a much more viable position, is what I'm saying. I'm not disagreeing with you on that point. Right? My analysis there was wrong. I thought that your opponent would have to play rook to d8, but you make a very good point in saying that you don't have to do that. You can actually survive by playing the better move, which supports like what you are saying, right? So if you have a better option that keeps you survive, you should do that rather than playing rook d. Completely agree, right? But then after rook d8, we are trying to see, is there any other thing that black can do, right? And it seems like this may either end in a draw or white still has the advantage or has a slight edge. If you can understand what I don't know if we are getting each other about this well. So yeah, that is basically why black did not take that. In case anybody was wondering, this was the position from which we analyzed. I was trying to figure out why white would castle here when obviously black could take, but we realized that black taking here is actually a trap, which makes white's position slightly better, though I think it's still very nice one. Very nice one. Okay, so we have bishop to h5 was being attacked by the knight. Bishop retreats. I think the point is future plans of f4, castles, then f4. f4 I think is fine, but the engine doesn't seem to like it, so but would they have preferred that we just go this way? I still don't like castle for white because you cannot do something like it. Castle is overrated. Oh yeah, I mean, is it here? Yeah. So I mean, we could figure out like what else could white have done here besides castle. One of the things white could have done is to take the bishop, which leads to a different position for sure. And the other thing is to castle. So the two best moves are either here or castle. Sometimes simple is best, Tracex. Sometimes simple is best. You don't always have to force things. If you were lurking during the stream yesterday, you would see that I had an opponent who was just forcing an attack on me, like you are saying. Rather than just give up, do that. And he just kept coming with full force, coming with full force, coming with full force. In the end, it just didn't do anything, right? And that's how I evaluated this attack. I thought this attack did not make any sense and it would not work. But my opponent kept on fighting, pushing at me. Agreeably, yes. Attacking chess is good. Your opponent gets terrified. They overthink in their position and they can make mistakes. But sometimes it's not that straightforward. That because I'm playing aggressive chess, my opponent is not going to consider the best defense. What I realize is that when people are under attack, they actually become better at calculating, because you see all the ways you can die. You know? So when people are under attack, they really do consider quite a number of things. Like they really do defenses that you cannot imagine. I think the hardest thing to do is to attack. So simple chess is good. Simple chess is definitely good at times. Yeah. But oh, for sure. That goes well with prep. That goes well with prep. Like prep, when you prep against an opponent's opening theory, you can simply play something that does not agree with the engine, but the difference is that you understand the position far better than your only assumes you play the best move. I think that's what even Magnus Carlsen normally does. Used to do. I don't know if he still does it. But he would play like the 7th best line in the engine, which may be a disadvantage to him. But then the position, though bad for him, he has more experience with the opposition. Thus he can overpower his opponent, which is completely right. Completely. But here I just think White is making the most objective decision. That's what I think. But then don't forget, White won this game, so yeah, we have there's a lot more to go on. I'm sure it's going to be like an end game battle. Or let's look at this game. We've been on move 11 for a while. Okay, bishop back, and then the rook comes in. So finally, there's no more threats here, and taking here is possible. But you wouldn't want to even take here anymore because of connect 5 and the fact that the attack is clear against you. Queen to b3. Sorry, c2. Ooh, this is almost like the video I did. Oh, whoa. A3 is a mistake. Why is A3 a mistake? I want to find out why A3. Let's try and figure this out together. A3 is actually considered a blunder. Now, first of all, why was A3 played? I don't see any reason why you should play. Why was it? Oh, I think I understand why A3. I think he presumed that this move could. So, for example, that's their FIDE ratings. Yeah, that's their FIDE rating. Let's for argument's sake, let's say he plays this. I don't think this is good, but I think this is the point, right? You can't take, and your knight is actually forking you. So you play A3 here, so that if the knight does try to jump in, you can take. There's no threat on this. That's actually interesting. So A3 is a blunder by White, and White won this game, mind you. So okay, so now that you've done this, what changes? What changes? I think we can still play knight takes, right? I think even after A3 you can play knight takes. Yeah, you can, right? Because after knight takes, pawn takes, queen takes, bishop takes, rook takes, you have a very active position. I think that is the problem. I'm not using the engine yet, so I don't know if I'm right or wrong. I'm wrong? Okay. So A3, could it be this? I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. But it can't be this. It can't be this. It can't have to do with this. But We just have b4, b5. You love that line. b4, b5. The line with the knight taking. There's a slight delay, so when you are mentioning things, if I did a specific line, you can just mention the move. So I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh, and bishop takes h7 check. Okay. So here bishop takes h7 check. Okay, that is interesting. So let's say knight takes. Yeah, I don't see the advantage. I think it's just this. I want to see where I was going with it. Okay, I don't know. It seems like that's it. I just think that's it. Let me turn on the engine and see why this is wrong. Yeah, knight takes d4 is the move. Wait, so what did he play here? He did play knight takes d4. Wait, so black saw it? Wait, so black saw it? How did black then lose this game? Can we get queen back? And the knight jumps back to his square. Queen comes in defending. We have a check. But won't bishop come back to defend? Oh, rook. Doesn't allow the other bishop to come in. So why didn't he just go back? Why did he play this? Why did he play? Because like this, are you expecting that your opponent is going to play this so that you can jump in here or something? Because that just wouldn't make much sense. I mean, if your opponent didn't make this mistake, that makes perfect sense. That would be good for you. Right? And then you can start playing some funny stuff against you. I don't know if that works per se, okay? But I don't see this. Because this move attacks the queen. Yes, this move can be played. That's about it. I don't see what else you can. I think you just have to accept the bad position. I don't know. I think you just have to accept the bad position. Yeah, because knight takes, doesn't matter. I can play bishop takes check first. He keeps the pin. Queen comes in. Okay? So now he has a back rank issue here. Again, if I'm right, you can just play your rook back and you still have this. So rook comes in, doubles, then the other rook comes in to defend. Bishop attacks bishop. There's a trade. Knight jumps in. Black is completely win. Like, how does white win this? I don't see how white wins this position in the slightest. Like, how? Again, I mentioned we are in the rainy season, so it's quite cold here. Wish I have a cool. Okay, yeah, these guys like to wait. And now he blocks it. Attacks the queen. Wait. Okay, no, it's fine. It's fine. Okay, there's something wrong with the. Give me a second. Let me confirm. Ah, I see the issue now. Board pairings for round four. I think I know what the issue is. Aha. Wait, what? No. Yeah, this is why I asked them to send me the games personally. Because this is bad. White actually wins this game, but here we clearly see that White is dead lost. So I think it's a problem with the board. So I'll have to text him and find out what's going on. But it's an interesting game. How White wins this, I don't know. How White would ever win this, because the game is not complete, first of all. So it could also be that the colors are swapped or something. But when I checked from chessresults.com, so I'm like, okay, whatever the hell is going on is going on. Right? Yeah, because what do you do here? I don't see where the win is here. Okay, if you were trying to do a comeback or something, you would play this. Your opponent still has this move, right? But let's just say for argument's sake, you take this. This check doesn't even work. Right? Something's off. Because White is supposed to have won this game, but maybe the boards are wrong. Maybe the boards are wrong. Oh well. It's well. Okay, let's see another one. Let's try and look for another one. But that was clearly a win for Black. I don't see how White wins. Round 5. Okay. Next game we are checking is on round 5. By the way, this tournament was played last week. I did play in it, but I didn't do. In fact, I did terribly. I did extremely terribly. Okay. Okay. That is alive. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, this is the next game. I'll text him about it and see the games are. But that doesn't make any. Okay, e4 we have d6. D6 is French, right? Or Piet. Is d6 Piet or French? Or French is e4. I think, yeah. I think this is French. I can't remember. I think this is French. Yes. Okay, d6. e4. Okay, this is the PS or the anti-Philidors. Knight to c3. d6. Trying to look like a dragon, but we don't have c5 yet. It might transpose into a dragon. Now it looks like a King's Indian pawn, 4 pawns attack. But again, we don't have. Right. Anyway. Bishop comes in. Bishop to d3. Knight c6. Knight to f3. Castles. Okay, yeah, so this is the way it is. So the 4 pawns attack is when you. Okay. I know the concept. Okay. Bishop d3. There's no yet the 4 pawns attack. Knight to c6 attacking the pawn. Knight to f3. Castles. And Trizex is gonna love this game because I'm sure it's going to be all-out attack. Bishop to g4. You might play bishop to e. What would I play here? The two things I'm considering. Actually, three. I think the last one is bad. Looking at takes, pawn push. I think pawn push is bad because of and I think any of these things will be bad because so I don't know. I really don't. Can't figure it out. But I still just, for example, take. I know Tracex won't do it. We go for a draw. I'm just kidding here. This is not straightforward. Anyways, what would be good here? I don't know if you'd want to play this again. I think this. I'm not so sure. I really hate these types of positions. Like even the semi-tarash. I really hate these types of positions. Like these pawn tensions. Because it's very difficult for me to evaluate which one. I don't like either of the captures because your bishop seems to become a pawn here. It's blocked. The only way I feel like the bishop is okay is takes, and bishop comes. Right? But I don't know. I really can't evaluate which one is better here. I mean, you can get a similar line here. But then this move here. And you have to become very passive. Hey, what's up? X. How you doing? Welcome. We are analyzing games from the just ended President's Cup, which was last week, Friday, Saturday. I have not looked at these games. On Monday, I looked at my games. I have not looked at these games, so we are trying to figure them out. So feel free to chime in whatever analysis. This position feels very passive. Good. I don't like this position. So maybe f6 is not. Then the question then comes. How about okay, takes. The problem. Yes, I think the best might just be D. Homeless opening. You'd have to give me the lines. I don't know what. He plays D5. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if that's why D5 doesn't look good. But I feel like you can play this. Again, the opponent can take. Your knight is under attack, but maybe just this and you can't really. Oh wait. Oh. Knight D4 doesn't seem. I'm kind of looking at this, but I'm not so sure. None of this looks good. Let's look at F3. The b4 is coming. I don't know what it. I think the reason why it's called homeless opening is because the king doesn't seem to have a safe place. I don't know. I don't. It doesn't look like something I would fancy. You have nice pawns. I don't know. It feels too dicey. Like it feels like again. It's just I'm not supporting it with calculation, but just objectively looking at the position, it doesn't look comfortable. Yeah, but with time, black becomes active. But line I have to look at. And I don't know if there are differences of lines. Like, I don't know if... Yeah, like in this position, I don't know if it's necessary for you to play b6 in this. Like, there are so many ifs about the position. I don't know. Like, what if you just take immediately? That's still good for black, for white. Like, there are so many ifs about this position. I'm not so sure. If you get this, why not? I don't know. It's not something I feel comfortable. I would feel. Anyways, back. The step between my yeah, for sure. I'm just saying that it feels like I would have to look at it in more depth to come to a very good conclusion. Because I do play bad opening. Like, I mean, when I say bad openings, openings that don't support. You still have the diagonal to the king. Yes. You have active. Yes. All that is true. But then, once your opponent gets active, that's the question. Is there a way to prevent your opponent from getting active? It doesn't look like that's possible. Can you put pressure? Yes, you can. But in the end, I think once your opponent gets active, then the position gets collapsed. I might be wrong. But I'll have to look at it in more detail. But it's a very nice yeah. I'll look at it in some second. Sure, we can do that. But we have a lot of games to go into. Let's do that first. So he plays this. I was looking at this, but I don't see how they win. What does the engine think is the best move? Either knight d4 or okay, I was thinking that both of these are bad. But the engine's like both of them are fine. But the best is this one is a drawish position. This one is actually takes. Let's see what the line is. Takes, bishop take, then knight d4. That makes perfect. I don't know how I didn't put two together. Because the reason why I played knight d4, it's very funny how I didn't see that. Because the reason why I played knight d4 is because I saw the pressure. So for me to not realize the connection and then see this and realize that taking deflects the bishop and then you face pressure here. That is actually very funny. That is actually. Now white is left with this backward. Black may have some problems developing here. And I don't know if you would want to get your knight. How you doing? Interesting. So we had knight d4. And the queen comes in. Bishop take. Pawn take. Knight jumps in. See the pressure on. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering why you don't just take. Okay, this knight doesn't have any. Because I feel like you would want your bishop here. That's the whole point of why I'm doing. Okay. Knight to h5. f5. Knight to f4. Queen comes in, threatening to take. Threatening to, well, maybe pawn push is also being threatened. Maybe pawn push is the move that black is going to. We have bishop. Bishop takes. Pawn takes. Knight jumps in. You can just play knight takes and your opponent is now left with an X on the board, right? Doesn't take. Queen comes up, attacks the knight. Knight goes back. What's wrong with this? Is it just this? Queen comes in. This move signifies that black is definitely going to take and bring the rook in. So here, white might be the one who. Yeah, he does. Okay. You have this. Rook takes, splitting the pawns. I was thinking that now that his opponent has changed his mind, he wouldn't. But it makes sense. This is an open file, and you kind of like want to trade here. Can we ignore this? Oh, I actually didn't notice that. Okay. Now we are threatening this. So, more or less, our opponent is going to play. He doesn't. This game is getting complicated. Rook comes in. Check. We all saw that. Oh, I thought I for a second I was thinking that we had knight with this, but that doesn't work. We have bishop check. We still have knight, but would you want to play knight rather or bishop rather? We play bishop, king moves, and then the knight comes. I don't see why you'd want to do that though. King comes in to defend, the other pawn is hanging. But this is considered a mistake. Well, first of all, this rook was doing a very good job of preventing your opponent's king from escaping. Now I think there are ideas of this, or even the rook coming in. Look at ideas of this and pressuring. Blocks. Bishop comes in with check. Knight jumps in. I think the threat here is to take, takes, and take. But there's also this pressure here. That's something that you can easily. Like, I don't think there's a move that you can just easily come to a conclusion about. Tries to trade off the rooks. And that's about it. You have a simple two-step plan. Check me. And the thing about this is that you don't really avoid this. You play check, you block here, and then I just go check and I. Interesting. So let's replay the attack again. So we had rook captures here with the idea of doubling on this file. I thought it would be a good idea for white to simply play rook to g1 and play the position from there. But white had other plans. He tried to develop with tempo to try and get his pawn developed. Rook comes in, pawn takes, and now he tries to take over the open file, trying to get active play against his, which probably was a wrong decision. Maybe he should have just again. Let's look at this with the engine and see. Instead of what he played, could he have simply just played rook to g1, or am I just hallucinating that this is actually a bishop to e3 check? Okay, that's time it. Once you see that move, you know that you're wrong. Okay. Okay, so rook comes in. It's actually very difficult. The more you look at the position, the more it's difficult to prevent. The bishop does a very good job of controlling the squares. The knight is also going to jump in very soon and make the position difficult for whites to play. So it makes perfect sense. Rook to e7, check. King moves away. King defends, and here his opponent got greedy. Right? He had no right taking that pawn. He had no right taking that pawn. That's what actually messed him up. Engine suggesting that he just comes back and defends. But yeah, the moment he seeded the file, you can just tell that something is not right. But this move was excellent, right? And now you bring the knight in. The contemplation was where to put the bishop. If the bishop comes in here, can't bring the knight in there. Here, he sees this line perfectly. Again, attacking the bishop. It's a loose pawn that is going to come up out of takes. I think he thought this helps him survive. Takes, knight jumps in, takes. The other knight comes in, and now you have a simple two-step plan for checkmate. Rook here. Sorry. No, yeah, he does this here. If your opponent would want to stop it, he has to move his king or bring the rook in to defend. He still keeps on going on the offensive when something dangerous is happening. What even makes this worse is the fact that the knight helps him develop. Right? You could make any other move to try and solve your problem, but he goes for the move that helps his opponent cause the problem. Right? I don't know what you would consider a very decent move here. This move is that good. What's up, Jeff? Come to the street. I was thinking because you can hide, but then there's pawn. So yeah, it's almost like a very bad idea. It's no, Tracex, I'm just trying to see if there's other ways to survive, but everything just doesn't work. Everything just doesn't work. Oh yeah, if you come in here, your opponent comes in check, you just take the. Yeah, of course, but your opponent is just going to defend against it. That's my point. But if he comes up, you can just move up. Right, you are still trying to come in. If you run in here, there's pawn push. That type of stuff. But here, if you take with your king, again, game issue. And take here and comes in. Yeah, like I just think that is bad. But then the move he makes, knight here, attacks the rook, and the rook was already planning on moving. He moves it here to keep the defense, but I couldn't see any follow-up attack for white here, so you could have immediately just gone here, takes, and then your king comes up. There's no follow-up attack. You are simply going for check. But yeah, that's fine as well. That's about it, right? Because you go this way, you get hit with this. You move wherever you want to move. Very interesting game. Very interesting game. Food makes my life so uncomfortable. The weather has been like this for a very long time. Second. I want to find the next game that we are. Morris versus Aquanda. So Morris was actually a new person on the. Morris was actually a new person on this. This was actually his first ever tournament. You see, I told all of them that they should make sure that their games are shown, but their games are not shown because he apparently played a crazy rep line against Hasford, who is the best like player in Ghana. Actually, no, not now. Now it's 80%. Or what's his name? Philip Selikem. But the game unfortunately is not showing. So we have to look at his other game, which was against Aquanda. I think that was in round 6. I also played against Aquanda, but I had a draw against. Again, we looked at all that. This again. Oh wow, they gave him IM here. 5. Where is it? If you don't see my games, it's simply because I was losing so much background. Yeah, so this is one of my games. I was just not. Where's he? Not here. What's his game against? You know what? Let's go to. Let's click his game against Asford. Let's click his name. It doesn't show. Oh, well. That is. Okay. Maxwell versus Matt. Maxwell versus Matt. Maxwell is a very good friend of mine. I've done some streams with him, if you recall. It's been a while. I actually thought he was going to enter the stream. I don't know if he changed his mind, but his work makes it different. So, yeah, Maxwell playing against Matt. Matt is the favorite for this game, but Maxwell is no slouch either. Personally, I think. Nashville, how are you doing? Welcome to the stream. Personally, I think like Maxwell, Wari Gold, and some other guy. I think those guys are like far better than me. Though we may look like we are the same rating level. My chess.com rating is 8. Okay, so D4, E6. So Maxwell plays English. What? This player, I don't remember. A3. Okay. He said 2600. I appreciate the compliment. 26. Oh boy. Hi. Welcome everyone. So today we are doing a analysis stream of the just ended President's Cup. Like I said, my games I analyzed them on Monday. So today we are looking at other games that happened. I'm first going to look at tournaments that I'll be making videos on. So that's what we're looking at now. But like I said, I've not looked at these games already. So it's like a learning for both of us. We are all looking at the positions and we are analyzing them. So Today, one of the things I would really enjoy from the chat is very cooperative in terms of like giving move suggestions. We can go back and forth on whether a position is good or bad, those type of things. I would really appreciate that from all. So let's look at this game. So, and if you haven't already, please subscribe, follow if you're on YouTube, which okay. So a3 is a very interesting move. I think it just stops bishop coming in here. I think because he's planning on playing, for example, knight here with the idea of c. All these are moves that can be played. So yeah, and then we get a traditional c. Personally, the moves I like to play, and my last game against Paul Senyega, I didn't show that game. He played the English against me. And personally, the way I like to play against the English, for example, if they do this, go e4, g6 here, takes, a lot of them sometimes do this, knight takes, take here, and then this is kind of like the line I prefer against it. But I do understand why you'd want to like challenge them. Mostly what I think the engine tries to the English tries to do with the English games I have faced is they eventually, especially in the line that I face, is that they try and get as do most. So yeah, we have the knights, and yeah, with the way he played it here, he plays against what you want to do. So it becomes very difficult for Maxwell to play what he wants. This kind of like isolates him. So he has to play like, if he really and truly wants to get this D, okay, he would have to like go e3 and then get D. But you see the way in which Matt plays it, it kind of fizzles it out. If there are any English experts here, you can always correct me if I'm. But I feel like the way Matt approached the position counteracts the main ideas that Maxwell would have wanted to go for in the English. Now, there's something called the Anglo-Scandinavian, which is the worst form of the Scandinavian. But this kind of fights also against the English. But you can see that, and Smart does play the Scandinavian. I'm pretty sure he does know about the Anglo-Scandinavian. But you can see the way he plays it. This is actually very nice. And possibly the reason why it works is because of this move. This move was quite slow. You can't blame him for playing that because he would have to play that move. Maybe he doesn't. Actually, what else would he have done here besides a3? Just going knight c3. Sometimes you just have to go knight. Even when I play the London sometimes, right? There's this line where your opponent kind of copies you, right, with this, and then you play here. Most often they play here and you go knight here. The risk with this move, I would say, is that your opponent can go bishop here. Again, it's not a big problem, but you would rather prefer your opponent going this way. This is what you want your opponent to play, because it gives you this opportunity to get this very strong position. And I can understand not wanting your opponent to hit you with that whole bishop to b3. But what I've come to realize is that sometimes playing these moves so good, they prevent your opponent from preventing your ideas. They are rather slow. They are rather slow. That's what I've kind of known. They are rather slow. Knight to c3, e5. You would mostly expect a trade here, but the trade here gives black too much control. But he still goes for the trade. Maybe if d4 is coming in, or e3 d4 is coming in. Yeah, so e3 d4. This is opened up now. Maybe he'll still go for g3, who knows. But primarily, I think this move is to support d4. If your opponent locks the position, it's actually not a yeah. I'm just mentioning what I think I know. As always, you can correct me. Okay, knight to f3. Knight to f6, sorry, knight to f3. And knight to c6, bishop to b5. Okay. Now we are abandoning this whole g3 idea. And personally, I think black got out of the opening. I think black is entering. Because you look at the position right now. Look at the position. White is usually the active. white usually is, but it's like white's all of white's ability has been snuffed out, right? So if we're doing it differently, let's say, what was played? Yeah, just simply going here, allowing this may have been a better option, because now you kind of stop. Not really. I don't know if it's actually even better or even worse. Let's check it out. Slightly better, right? There you go, TD. Well, if you can play this position, fine. I think some go. Well, you can also even play e3 here. I wasn't even looking at that. You could also play e3 because now you are still having the advantage. You still have the control over the center, and if your opponent takes, you're actually just. So sometimes being afraid of these bishop to b4 ideas, I mean, it is not something you should. So black did come out with you. Black did come out with you very strong. Takes bishop back. Ugh. Still a very passive position, right? Still a very passive position. Though this is suddenly like an IQ. This is suddenly like an IQ. And IQP are very technical positions. They are very technical positions. Ramazan Temel, welcome. Because you have to prevent this pawn from being, because this pawn can become. And somebody explained this to me, that eventually you may either trade off this pawn or it may become a thorn inside as it develops. But you have to be very careful. You have to develop around the pawn, and your opponent has to prevent the pawn from collapse. So he does push it forward here. Yeah, so he does trade it off. Rather than keep the liability, he trades it off. Now the game is more or less equal. The position is kind of drawish because it's very symmetrical in terms of the structure, and some things are like a mirror image. Where we differ here is in takes, bishop comes in. Yeah, this is. So despite black coming out of the opening swinging, couldn't really do it. Could we have done anything different here? Castles. Like, what about if he just took here? Would that have been fine? Takes, knight takes, if take. Your opponent could still play queen takes and isolate it. And probably this better. Maybe we play b, bishop here. Maybe this is better for white. Let me see. It's better for black. So black does keep. It's still drawish, similar to the other position. It's not that there's nothing you can do here. I just play the end game. And mind you, you're not playing against like these grandmasters who are very solid in the end game, like they know what they are doing. So just because I'm saying that it's drawish and it's a drawish, and it doesn't mean that your opponent will actually draw it. You need the information. Takes. And the game is just becoming boring, I think. Okay. Oh, this is not looking comfortable for black. Comes. I don't see the purpose of that move. I don't see the purpose of that move. Just feels to me like you are active. Oh. Go for the poison. But we have to figure this out. I'm thinking what he's missed. If I'm seeing the board well, I'm thinking what he's missed is that this bishop is defending the rook. Why do I say that? Knight check, king moves. Knight takes. Bishop takes. queen takes. I think that's what he missed. I think that's what he missed. Right? Because here, if your opponent has to go back, I think you have an okay position. You're even winning here. Because you have queen. If he missed anything, I think that's probably what he missed. I think that's what he missed. Let me be sure. Knight e7 check, king h8. Knight takes c8. Bishop takes f1. Rook takes f. Bishop takes f1. Okay, so my line is not. Engine is going this way. Bishop takes f1 rather. Oh, because the rook defends. Oh, so interesting. Yeah, so I think that's what he missed. I think that's what he should have simply just gone knight take. And let's say after bishop takes, I think, yeah, the game just fizzles out here. Bishop takes, I think again. No, bishop takes is wrong because of rook c8. Come on, the lines. The lines. Okay. Wow. The poison pawn. But what do you guys think he missed? Hey, Jay. Thanks. Do appreciate it. I do appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. And thanks for the follow as well. Yeah, because it's wow. This would really hit. And I would also say that he probably underestimated his opponent, which would be strange, because Smart knows that Maxwell is no slouch. I used to think that Maxwell was on my level, but now I'm thinking very differently about it. Actually, this tournament made me kind of like doubt my skill level. I did very well against Akwanda. Like, that was my second time playing Akwanda, who is like number 3 in Ghana, and I was able to draw him. So I was happy with that. But then the rest of the tournament and seeing what my peers were doing made me actually look a little bit. Ratings mean nothing for sure. I mean I would agree to some extent, especially within our rating range. 1200 all the way to like 1900, but from 2000 I think it actually matters. What makes rating not matter is someone's activity in the game, right? Is the person still actively training as the person did when they reached that level? Because there was this candidate master 1900 who came and he was beaten by almost everybody. Like, he was beaten by 1500, he was beaten by 60, beaten by unrated people, right? So yeah, I would agree. But yeah, is it that easy to miss this? Because like, I would be very cautious here. I would really be very cautious here, because already you see the fork. Like, you already see the fork. So I understand, like, you want to do a counter threat, but you have to be more careful because the ball is in your opponent's court. It's not like your opponent, after you take here, your opponent plays a move and you can choose to respond to it, right? If you can choose to respond to it, then maybe bishop takes makes perfect sense. But since you don't have the choice, then you have to realize that, okay, this comes with tempo. So that move was just not interesting. I mean, at this point, I don't even know if we should look at the game because it's going to be very straightforward, right? We have 4 versus 3. No, 4 versus 4. No, 5 versus 4. Yeah, and the strategy here is to just trade down. Reality is that around 60% of accounts on chess.com are manipulating. Possibly, I really don't know how true that is. But yes, online ratings are very, very obscure. Like, you can't really tell what someone. Recently, a friend of mine who used to stream during the COVID, he was found to be cheating, and it kind of made me feel bad because I thought that he was actually getting better, like he was training hard and getting better. Because at the in just 4 weeks, 5-6 weeks, when he started training, he just became better than me. I was like, you find out that the person was cheating. It just hurts, no? So yeah, at this point, you're just going to try and trade down. Okay. Even here, you can just finish the game. Like, just trade down and you are winning. There's not much to think about here. You can just, even if your opponent does this, right? Maybe here you should be a little bit cautious. But that's how winning the position is. You can play this move, your opponent attacks, then you lock this side out and you play with this. Eventually, when you deal with this side, you're going to have one pass pawn and then come in here. And okay, wait, this would be could be a draw because the color of the squares here are different. But I still think that white is winning. Anyways, could do that. Okay. Whew. Okay, so those are the games. The other ones don't show. So I can just look at some games that I'm actually into. Let me check. I played against a guy named Nana. Which then messed things up because it caught snowball effect in another. It got bigger. I want to see how this Nana Kofi beats Matt. E4 C5. Why C5? Like, why would he play C5? And in case you're wondering why I'm asking this, like I said earlier when my mic was muted, Smart is a Scandinavian player just like me. So, but he plays. Wait, what? I see. Yeah, E4D. X. Smart plays D. If you know me, I play Queen A5. I used to play Queen D8 because it was safer. Queen A5 is quite risky. So is this. But these days I primarily play Queen A5. Now the interesting thing about Queen A5 is I've actually never studied Queen A5. The only lines I have actually studied is Queen D8, and that was a course by John Bartholomew on Chessable. So the only lines I've actually studied on the Scandinavian is Queen D8. Everything I play after Queen A5 is just me analyzing the position and experience. So I don't actually know the lines after Queen A5. I don't, right? Mostly my opponent plays this, I could just go like knight. When I see this, then I play C3. But I think there are some lines where you can go C3 immediately. There are some lines where you can go knight. But I don't know those lines. All I know is, which is, it makes me kind of proud because I've won so many games with Queen A5. And the line I really love with Queen A5, oh my goodness, is this line. When you play this, your opponent plays D4. You play knight, they play bishop. You play this here. They play bishop here. You bring your bishop out. Then they go knight. Oh my goodness, this is my line. This is like my jam. Oh my goodness. I love this thing. The engine hates it, but this is my jam. Like, this is my I love this line. Like, I can't express how much I love this line. And sometimes there's this funny thing that the opponents do. Sorry, let's go here rather. Let's go here. Right? Where they go knight here. I need to make a move for me. Let's just play this. I don't know if this move is good. But then they go here. This is not exactly the line because you can see that the queen is there, so on and so forth. But this is so. Again, I understand. I'm just trying to explain something here, right? And when it becomes, oh my goodness, oh my, I just love it. I just can't express it. But I just so. That is provable quite easily. Simply chess.com. Go to some higher page. Like, what do we see there? A guy with 26 and 102. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Yeah. Anyways, that was me. That's enough about me ranting about Scandi. I love the Scandi. I know it's drawish. I know it's not optimal, but I love it. There was a recent shot with Magnus Carlsen talking about the Scandi. He said, "Okay, but why?" Very interesting. Okay, so we have this is the Grand Prix attack, if I remember. I analyzed the game by Dave Chief, and I think this was called the Grand Prix attack. G6, so he's playing the dragon. Knight F3, bishop to G7. Bishop to E2, E6. Preparing this. E5, locking up the position. So he has simply closed the position, making it difficult for black to develop. You could still go this way and try and play around it, or you could play this way, which maybe mind you, I'm not an expert on this. I don't know much. Oh, okay. The knight is trying to hide itself here. But I may, if I had a way to defend the knight, I would still play knight here, because now you have a lot of weakened dark squares, and I have a dark square. Okay, back. Takes, knight takes, bishop comes in, one push. Okay. Let's try and look at this position. What's going on? I feel, or I think, that white has a slight initiative, but black may have solved his problems. Actually, no. Black, no. Let me change my mind on that. You can still castle, and then you can play your rook up, and that's 1. 2. I don't know how you get the bishop into the attack, but there are a lot of dark square weakness. I think that white is better here. I think that white is better. Plus 0.4. Not a big deal. Just saying that white has initiative. So let's see exactly how this went. I didn't pay so much attention. Is there a way he could have dealt with, like, is there a way he could have, I don't think this is good, but let's say takes here and go this way. That way he doesn't get so, okay, he can still get crown, but now you don't have still the same issues. And I think it's even worse, right? Because this exists. What if this actually, there's actually worse. I don't think you'd want. Goes queen a5, queen d, queen d3. I don't know how you do h4, h5 is also. I don't know how you'd continue this position. I don't think you want to do bishop to b. Like let's see how white had. I was thinking you'd probably try. How would you even do it? Need to go. Yeah. How do you get? One. All right. One. I think this would be a very good score. But anyways, that's fine. Preventing the opponent from castling, very nice. H5. That's this. Queen takes. Of course, there's no way your opponent can take it. I think queen takes allows rook. Bishop takes first. Oh, oh, that's, oh my goodness. The point is, if you take, you just lose your, oh my god. So he just lost the piece here. Oh, the greed. The greed is what got him here. Position is fine here. White, sorry, I mean white is winning here. But the greed is what got the better. But it was a very tough position. Like, majority of the way he played, I couldn't figure it out. Like, why certain moves? Right, this move, obviously, knight jumps back. All I could realize later on, this preventing the king from castling. But it wasn't that the stopping the king from castling was not. But he played this instead of castling, which allowed that. Which allowed this. Then the queen comes in here. I don't see the point of the. You could say possibly it's like knight jumping in. Takes. But I don't see the point. Like, is it G3? Is it G4? Like, what's the point? I don't get it. Have this backtrack, knight jumps in. And then you just win from. Oh. That's actually. There's no back rank. Oh, then you win the wow. That is actually. Oh boy. To be frank, I'm actually getting very tired. It's not easy analyzing these games. My coupled with the cold giving me a headache, I'm struggling. But this is a very nice game. I think he capitalized on his opponent's inexperience in the position. The game probably would have gone a bit differently if he played the Scandinavian, which is where he thrives. Sometimes just play what you know. Don't try and play against your opponent. Like, throughout the tournament, there are times when people will be like, oh, my opponent plays this, I'm going to play this, when they actually haven't like prepped against it. Like, they've not actually spent time prior to the tournament. Like, trying to do something like that before the match, I don't think it helps, because you just glance through the first top 2 engine moves and you don't really consider much. Just be like, okay, this gives me this. I don't think that works. So if he played the Sicilian, knowing the line his opponent was going to play, like looking at it prior to the game and then playing it, I don't know. I don't actually advocate. Yeah. That was it. There are so many games to go through. So many games. Vietnam is like a 5-year-old girl. 5, 6. I don't know her age. 8. I don't. Did very well. She also beat the 1900 player I was talking about. He had a very terrible tournament, right? I mean, he did better than me, but he had a very terrible tournament. It wasn't even like it was just bad. Okay, I was hoping to stream for like 3 hours, but as I'm going, I really can't handle it. But once again, I do appreciate everyone who joined the stream. We had quite a number of people around. Thank you to everyone who joined. Please like if you're on YouTube, like and subscribe. If you're on Twitch, subscribe as well, follow as well. Out. Maybe I will stream tomorrow around night 12:20. Maybe I'll stream tomorrow. Yes, we can get through something. Thank you guys so much. Really, really appreciate it. We are almost 400 subscribers on. I don't know if we'll get today. We really want to get to 1,000 before the end of. Tell a friend to tell a friend. See you guys. Mostly Fridays I play viewers. So. Where's the ready?